Oh, hey, we're live. Hey, Dr. Will. So I'm so not used to being the one that starts. So I was just enjoying the music and the pictures and the memories and everything. And then I realized, oh, somebody needs to say something. And I guess that somebody needs to be me for today. So hello, everybody who is joining in, hopefully on Facebook, because Facebook today, I thought it was just me because technology and the cloud of darkness usually surrounds me on most parts of every single day. But I found out not that long ago that it was Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and I don't know, maybe some other things too. But it looks like we are back, but we look a little different. So, for those of you just joining in, whether on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, I am Rachelle Pose, and I am one of the normal co hosts for the Thrive in EDU Thrive O'Clock on Mondays and on Fridays, usually joined by my good friend, Melody Malister, who starts the show. But today, Melody seems to be MIA, kind of like my Facebook feed was earlier at some point. But maybe she'll show up. But I'm very excited to have our guest here today, who is a very good friend of mine that we've had on our show a couple of times, who I got to enjoy a lovely meal with at ISTE 2018, I think, maybe 2019 could have been. It's hard to say at this point. Actually, 2018, I think, because Philly was 2019. So 2018 in Chicago. And he's done so many amazing things in education. He has some exciting news that hopefully he'll share with us today. So I would love to welcome my good friend, our good friend, Dr. Will, who apparently is my co-host today. How are you doing, Dr. Will?
I'm all right. Thanks for inviting me. Just been a busy school year. It seems as though we've been in school for half a year already.
Yeah. One of my students today said, "How long have we been in school?" And another student said, "6 weeks." And the kid's like, "There's no way we've been in school 6 weeks." And I said, "Yeah, we've been in school 6 weeks." He's like, "It feels like an eternity." I said, "Well, it's just the beginning of October." So I went halfway through the first 9 weeks, but yeah, it's been exhausting. I don't know how you're feeling. I know in the work that you do, but like what are you hearing from other educators? Because I know last week it seemed like so many that I saw on Facebook, whatever, social media they were posting, everybody felt like they hit a wall. They were just absolutely exhausted. What are you hearing within your network and seeing in your spaces?
Yeah. I mean, people are tired. It's been a grind these past few years, just the online stuff. And even though I love it, this is my lane, right? I'm really really excited about it. But there are a lot of teachers who this wasn't something that they expected nor wanted, and they're like, we're tired. And just the whole push of it, particularly when like people went home over the summer and they were thinking, okay, we're going to go back, it's going to be normal, everything's going to be okay, and then schools start opening up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, COVID is like, I'm still here, y'all. And they're right back into virtual or hybrid or what have you. So yeah, everybody is just sort of like, oh my gosh, I'm really really tired. And then
Mhm.
you have kids who haven't been in school for a while, and you hear all this thing about learning loss, and everyone is trying to just keep it moving as though nothing has happened. And beforehand I thought we had too many standards, but now it's like we really need, which I can't wave a wand, but I think, people just like, let's cut some of this stuff back so we can go deeper and give people a break so they're not trying to just fit everything in on the pacing guide, but have some time to really sit back, go deeper with kids and have a little more fun.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
have to I had to come up for that. Like
I,
that
I
was
was going to remove you from
beautiful.
the stream. I was just going to be funny, just like knock you right back out of the stream.
No. Dr. Will, that was probably I was like I wasn't sure when I was going to make my appearance, but that was absolutely perfect what you just said. Like I wish that can you remember it all? Can you say it again for the people in the back?
Oh, well, we could just get rid of so many, standards, because when you have all those standards, now you got the pacing guide and you're just running to hit the pacing guide, particularly now. everybody, keep talking about the loss of learning, loss of learning, loss of learning. Everybody's just like foot to the metal, trying to just cram everything in and trying to quote unquote make up for the past 3 years, when we should just scale back and dive deeper and give teachers time to really scaffold back when necessary, accelerate those who need to, but also give kids, various ways, as we talk about Twitter a lot, just to provide evidence of their learning in various ways outside of a worksheet, outside of, I'm typing in a PDF, etc. But, really giving them time to sit back with the information, make meaning of it, have a personal connection with it, and actually make sense of what they're doing, and not just that feeling you have when you're sitting at home and you're just kind of flicking through the channel lineup, and you're like, man, I got 200 channels,
Yes.
but I can't find nothing to watch. Sort
Right.
of get that feeling out of the classroom. That I think at that time we just need to take a step back and give some time where kids can actually take a breath themselves and really learn, and not go through this stuff because someone is trying to get a certain score on the test.
Mhm.
Yeah. It really, I just want to say what he said. Oops, what he said. Okay.
What do you say?
Honestly, I'm so glad you have so much common sense. I mean, here's the thing, like, we're trying to survive a pandemic. It's still here. People are still getting sick. People are still dying. We are on a shortage of substitutes, a shortage on teachers, and everywhere you look. And I just think it is so stupid. Some people are like, well, the social emotional learning is really taking a hit. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
taking a hit. Everybody's social emotional learning is taking a hit. Everybody, we're in this together. Literally, we have to find ways. I can't decide which is more important, making sure my kids are going to go play with friends, or making sure that we're going to stay safe from COVID. I mean,
Right.
they're both very important. There's no easy answers, but trying to push kids for some stupid standard that weirdos created that weren't even in the classroom anymore seems so futile and pointless. So I love that. Thank you for saying that.
Wow. You
Yeah.
just came on with
Passion.
like a total storm right there with what you just said.
Yes.
Like standards and total weirdos, and I forget what else you said, but
Oh yeah.
like I'm gonna have to
If
go
you're
back
gonna
and
add,
rewatch it.
if you're gonna add anybody for being angry, at Melody, don't at Rachelle for sure, because I said it and I'll stand by it. But yes, Dr. Will, I love those words. So let's talk a little bit about, like, we're gonna talk about teachers leaving and everything, but right now you had your Edupreneur come out a few years ago, and now you're about to hit Edupreneur 2, how to launch your EDU business. And I think there's never been a better time for this. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what I wanted to do with the sequel was give teachers a real breakdown of how do you do this, right? The first one was a big sort of view of what is it like when you do this work, and listening to people who've done this work, listen to work-life balance or branding, or how do they come up with doing something that's unique to them. And this one will be about how do you, like, it starts off like, how do you know if you have a business in you that you can actually do this? And then it takes you on the journey of, now, how do you actually go about creating the business? And we get into branding, and we get into incorporating and getting your business ID with the IRS and all those other things. So it really goes deeper into, if the first one got you excited, the second one should be, this is how it is to actually launch a business, to create a business out of nothing from scratch. And I'm going to be writing a workbook with it as well. So it's not going to be a long workbook, but it's going to be one of those workbooks where you can sit down, and as you're watching the video, it'll be questions where you can kind of sort of jot down your ideas, and hopefully at the end of the workbook be able to have an outline of what your business is going to be.
That's awesome.
I can't wait. And I was trying to find the link to your first Edupreneur. Can you put that in the private chat so I can share it out in our comments?
Yeah.
Also, Tisha Poncio just texted me to let me know that my hair looks great and I look beautiful.
Nice.
It's like, thank you. And so I want to invite Tisha and I want to invite anybody else who's watching. If you want to be a part of our game coming up here pretty soon, text me if you have my number or DM me on Twitter because Facebook is not working. And I will give you the link because I have a fun game coming up. And so, yeah. Oh, we have comments.
It's probably just mine because after I remember watching Edupreneur the first, and it was amazing, and I had written a blog about it and the different takeaways and things from watching it, because like the thing that I got out of it was we see all of these different people, like people that he had in the Dr. Will had in the first one. And he just takes and I go back to our conversation when we were at ISTE in 2018, which I always bring up every time we have him on, just because it was so nice to just sit and actually talk. And I kept saying to him, you need to write a book, you need to write a book, and something about podcasting and what he's so good at. And then here he comes out with this Edupreneur and the stories that he put into that documentary where, he's focusing on all the different people. And I won't be able to name all of them, but just the ones that I think of, like Jeff Bradbury and Angela Myers and Eric Scheninger and Caitlin Tucker. And there were several others. I think there were, let me think, 8. Was there 8 of them?
8 of them, yes.
Okay. I was like trying to remember, but just listening to it, I was taking notes. And so the fact that you're saying like, you can't like a workbook or something as you're listening to it, but just the words of their impact and advice. But what we see when we see all of these people is like, wow, they're doing all these things and they have, the websites and the blogs and they're keynoting and they're writing books and all of that. And it's like, why can't I do that? But then when you actually get to see them and hear their conversations and know that they struggle and there were challenges and, there was pushback and all of those different things, it really does help you to focus in on like knowing that everybody goes through that and you're going to learn like every single day. And we don't always have all the time that we want, but putting ourselves out there and continuing to learn, it's something that we all need to do. And so being able to like see and hear from those people in that first one, it just made a difference. And, there's always that graphic that you see, like you see the iceberg, but you don't necessarily see everything that's underneath it. Or you see all the successes and you don't see like how many times in one of my books I wrote about like how many shots Michael Jordan missed. Like you just see this, or Dyson vacuums, or Thomas Edison, or, anybody in history. And there's a lot of additional examples, but you don't necessarily always know the story. And that's what resonates with me is like the power of this story and sharing the good, the bad, and everything in between. And telling somebody, even if it's just you, like me with my own podcast that I talk about, and there's no edits. It's not refined like Dr. Will, but it might just help and reach that one person that needs to hear it, that gives them enough to go on. And so with that, I am going to stop.
She called you refined, Dr. Will. What do you think about that? Woo!
My wife wouldn't say that.
I like when you share about your wife. I miss you on Facebook, actually, Dr. Will, because you used to like share a little bit about stuff like that.
I had to, I don't know. I just got bored of it. And then the foolishness of it that happens with stuff. And I'm like, man, I need this. I don't need this on my phone. Or having people send me messages when I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why is my phone, ring, and I'm looking in as a Facebook. I'm like, man, y'all need, I got a job, so
Yeah.
I just took it off my phone. And then I was like, again, the continuation of the you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was just thinking how many messages I sent you while you were at work. It was probably the one that drove you to the edge.
Yeah. And this is the continuation of foolishness, right? There's a lot of foolishness going on because with Facebook, as you know, there's people on Facebook that you are connected with from Twitter, let's say, that and you're sort of extending those conversations. But a lot of the people are people you like grew up with and family and friends. And it's again, sometimes stuff, like, okay, I'm done. We're going to stop having these, I'm like, I got to remove myself before I say something to get myself in trouble. So I was just like, I got to go.
Oh,
yeah.
I think you're too refined to get yourself in trouble, but for sharing that. When can we expect your Edupreneur 2, How to Launch Your Edu Business, to come out?
I don't know. We're in the final stages of editing it. It's been cut down. So Dr. Sarah did a great job. The initial edit was like down, it was from about 8 hours to 3 hours.
Wow.
And then now it's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we're just putting in like the introduction, the outro, some graphics, and people's social media information and bridges, stuff like that. So we're
Wow, that could be like a whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have like 8 installations on Netflix.
Yeah.
Thing.
Hey, Netflix won't give me a deal. I'm here.
Have you tried?
I haven't, but it would be awesome to be able to, combine sort of conversations via Zoom versus me traveling to see other teachers and have conversations about them creating these businesses or their lives, or even be able to watch them live deliver like a PD session and get that sort of feedback. So it would be awesome. If I got that, I'm quitting.
Yeah. I hope I could see you going towards Netflix. I feel like you're kind of like a pave the wayer. Like you're paving the way, There's trailblazer, that's the word.
Yep.
Trailblazer.
He is
yes.
a trailblazer.
And I'm going to segue because we're going to get to our game pretty soon, but I want to segue into this because this is why Edupreneur 2 is so necessary right now. Because if you look on Twitter, I'm on Twitter, so there's a lot of people not on Twitter, but teachers are leaving. They're talking about it. Like every 5th tweet I see is a teacher saying, I'm done. I can't do this. My mental health is more important. I have to go. Or everybody talking about the shortages of the substitutes or the custodial staff or the cafeteria. So teachers are leaving. If you're watching this, I don't know, is Marianne watching today? Is your mom watching today, Rachelle?
If Facebook is working, then she should be. Although I did tell her about YouTube as well. So we'll see. So
okay.
Mom, if you're watching, send us a comment.
Hi, Marianne. Hi, Mom. Also, if you're watching, what do you think? What would help teachers stay? Let us know. And Dr. Will, I want to know your thoughts. What's going to help teachers stay?
I think they need some more zeros in the check. Because that's very helpful. Yes. We do a lot of work for little pay, and just give teachers a break.
Right.
Like I said, don't cut back on a lot of stuff. Just needs to be cut back on. Whether it be the teaching load to other responsibilities that schools like to throw out, to even dress codes. Like I've had people get on Twitter and talk about the dress codes, or like, what, I can't do this or I can't do that. And I just think that at this time teachers need grace. Right. And if there were ever a time for a school district to sort of look at what they're doing and re-examine some of their policies, now would be the time. Right. Now would be the time, and sort of say, and then you go to teachers too. Don't just go, here's a free Gene Day, but go to teachers and say, what could we do to help reinvigorate your spirit for teaching?
Yes.
Right. Or even ask them, how are you feeling? Because even a lot of school districts, you do the PD on whatever tool they purchased or whatever curriculum they purchased, but are they doing PD on mindfulness? Are they doing PD on how do you gather yourself when a student may trigger you? How do you come to work in a different space when maybe you have left home? You didn't leave home in the best manner. And not to mention, again, just all of this stuff that teachers have to do in the workspace. Teachers are human, right? And then they have 30 little humans in their classrooms.
Right.
who all have their own personalities, who all have maybe their trauma they're dealing with, who all may have come to the school having an argument at the house or have seen something in the house. And that's just a lot of stuff in a small room, sort of being stirred around every day.
Yeah.
And I think people need to kind of look at that from the an emotional perspective, a mental perspective. Like, how can we make this thing work better? And understand that if you get that done, the academics, I think, will take care of themselves. But just sort of loosen, like, stuff is starting to rise now, and let it go. Like, there used to be a time where, you could go into a school and you'd have that, like, Miss Johnson, who've been teaching so long. You like, were you here when they put the first brick up, Miss Johnson? But you don't have teachers like that anymore, right? You don't have that teacher that been there so old that you like, man, that teacher right there taught my mama and my aunt and
there
my
are
cousin.
some still around.
Man, I just, they're rolling out. And then the younger ones are for sure getting out earlier because it's a lot. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot to do. And again, your money is what it is. You can't go back and say, you see that evaluation I got?
What he said.
You see that evaluation I got that you told me I was excellent? Show me some money for that.
Show me some. Put some more zeros. You had me at put some more zeros in the paycheck.
Yeah. We don't have that option. So there's a lot I think will keep teachers staying. Money, I think, for everybody. But again, lessening that sort of emotional roller coaster that they're dealing with, which has only been exacerbated by the pandemic. I think if school districts can kind of take a tone and, again, really talk to teachers. And if a teacher tells you, hey, I'm stressed, this or that, don't be dismissive of it.
Right.
Even if you feel like they're complaining, even if you feel whatever, just ask them, what can I do?
Yeah.
And take it off the plate, because what they are going to realize at some point, teachers come to the table with so many different skills already.
Yeah.
And they're already leaving.
Right.
And if you get to a point to where teachers start to become self-aware, right, that they can do other things outside of teaching, because some people, they get to a lot of people, whether it's I went to law school or I went to medical school, I did this, they graduate and they're like, even though I'm not happy, I got this degree, I'm just going to go work.
Yeah.
Because I got the degree, I put in the time. But then you have the other people who are like, forget that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be fulfilled.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I want to wake up in the morning and I want to be excited. I don't want to hear that alarm and be like, not today. So I think once teachers become more self-aware, right, and start to look at themselves in that way, in terms of having a joy for work, right, and then also understanding that they have the power not to be miserable.
Right. Right.
I think school districts are going to find themselves in a lot of trouble.
Yes. And if you want more of this, I just put the link on for Dr. Will's podcast, and we have a visitor. Oh, but Rachelle,
we do. But I just wanted to say that, like, this morning, I did wake up. I was like, oh gosh, not today. It's Monday. Like, oh no. And then it was a crazy day at school. So hey,
hello,
Tisha.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I miss you terribly.
I miss all of you. And that conversation, Dr. Will, was fire. I happened to click on the link, and then I couldn't leave because all of the wonderful things that were being said. I was like standing up cheering.
She was literally standing.
I am literally standing.
And again, if you want to hear more of Dr. Will, go to his podcast. It's a really good podcast. It's actually one that I listen to sometimes. I mean, because it's hard. I usually be working out if I'm going to listen to somebody talk for a long time, and I haven't been doing that lately. Okay. Gotcha. Are you guys ready for some social media trivia in honor of the Facebook shutdown? All right. Yes. Okay, we're gonna start with let's start with some fun facts. I'm gonna give you some facts, and you're gonna tell me if they're true or false. Okay.
All right.
An average person has an account on more than 11 social media networks. Is that true or false?
11? I'm saying it's false.
I'm saying false.
You are right. It's actually 9.
All right. I'm not the loser today that I was on Friday, so I'm already starting off not in the negative.
Yeah, but can you believe it? I probably have 9 social media accounts.
Yeah, because if you
took a
count WhatsApp and Telegram or anything
Mhm.
like that, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Boxer.
Ooh, what is your favorite? You guys, this is just one I thought of just now because of, Rachelle just went on and it made me think, what is your favorite social media account?
Twitter.
Yeah. I like Twitter.
I like Instagram. I'm going to go with Instagram. I like it because of the stories, the reels, but also I feel like people share more about their family on Instagram than on Twitter. And I just like sometimes seeing that aspect of people, right? The real aspect. I like to see it.
Well, I love Facebook. Facebook is my favorite.
Yeah.
I
I
put
do
all
like
the crap
Facebook.
on there. Like I am unfiltered on Facebook. Like I am like cussing on there. I'm blaming people. And then I'm showing also my loving side because I have one of those too. So, everything goes on Facebook for me.
You're in rare form today, Mel.
Mhm. Yep. Totally.
Well, that's okay. All right. Here's another true or false. Instagram has has 1.22 billion monthly active users. Instagram has over 1 billion monthly active users. Do you think that is true or false?
I'm going to say that's absolutely true.
Yeah, I'll go with true.
I'm glad you guys said that it was true because if I had to read that number again, I was going to be like, what is this number that I'm reading? Okay. All right. Okay. True or false? An average person spends 3 hours and 17 minutes on social media a day.
True.
I'm going to say false because I think it's more.
I'm going to say, how long did you say?
3
hours.
I think I said 3 hours.
I'm going to say it's less than 3 hours.
Wow. Are you Googling these answers?
No.
It is actually false. It is actually a daily average of 2 hours and 16 minutes.
It's way less. Wow.
For some people, I tend to
some people.
I tend to spend more. I make my living off of social media. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so
I'm way more than that too. But
do you guys get those notifications at the end of the week? How many hours you spent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
Me too.
Don't want to know.
I'm not proud. It is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go to some other questions now. Let's see. In which year, this is like just open trivia for anybody. Let's see if you can get any of these right. In which year did Facebook pass 1 billion users? In which year?
2008.
I know the answer to this.
How come? Just say it. Let's see.
2012.
What do you think, Dr. Will?
2006.
Wow. Rachelle, how did you know the answer?
Because I teach all about digital citizenship and social media to my 8th graders, and I know a lot of these statistics because we talk about them. So I knew Facebook because we talked about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that was almost 10 years ago, and it was already at that number of users. And that's why I knew the Instagram too. I didn't know the exact number, but I knew that in the billions, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, bluffing. And it's so do you know the exact day that it had its 1 billionth person sign in, Rachelle?
I think it was in October.
You are wrong, Rachelle.
Really?
It's not October.
Well,
if she was right, I was going to be like, I'm not playing games anymore with Rachelle.
I was only guessing that because I thought it was something that they brought to light like in October, because usually like digital citizenship, like the week and month and the focus on it. So no,
but you're close.
I'll go June. How about June?
No, you were closer with October. It was actually, it's according to my my Google search, it was September 14th, 2012, when the 1 billionth user.
Wow.
Yeah. So you were really close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to mess around with you. Okay. Can I ask a couple more? You guys got to go.
Sure.
Keep
I got
going.
like 3 minutes.
Okay. Twitter started by allowing 140 characters. How many does it allow now?
Brady.
280.
Yep. 280.
Sorry.
Good job, guys. I
I'm
would have
just happy we're not doing acronyms.
right. I would have been so ashamed of all of you if you hadn't known that. Actually, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it was around there, but whatever. Okay. Okay. What is the surname of Tom, co-founder of MySpace?
Why do I not know?
Anderson.
No.
Yes!
What is it?
Anderson.
Oh my gosh.
Am I right?
Is that right?
Yes! That is awesome.
Can we
Sorry.
take Rachelle to Vegas?
Yeah, you know what? MySpace was probably my really first social media account. I feel like.
Did you have a music playlist on your MySpace?
Yes. I
Yeah.
had top 5 friends. Dr. Will, did you have a MySpace?
I had one, but I didn't do anything with it.
It could be still there. I found mine.
It's still there.
I don't know. My account's
I
still
never
there. It's
had
like,
one, I don't think.
This girl.
We should go befriend each other, Mel, and I'll make you like my top 5 friend again.
They don't do top 5 stuff.
Oh,
like
they
that.
don't?
No.
No.
But
Hey, do you know who actually bought part of MySpace years ago? Because I think the guy actually sold it for like billions and like 400 some billion dollars. But at one point, I don't know when,
His
and I don't
dad?
know the number, but Justin Timberlake was a co-buyer of MySpace
Really?
like years ago. Like we came across that, and I have no idea if he still owns part of it or not, but I remember reading about it because I was like, wow, what doesn't he do? So
yeah, Justin Timberlake or
Mhm.
Lake, whatever.
yeah.
That is okay. So I know I want to be respectful of your time, but this is a real personal question. So think
boy.
deeply about this before you answer. But since we cannot use Facebook tonight, and I know the muscle memory is strong, like you just want to keep going there and seeing, what are you going to do to fill in your space tonight? Fill in time.
Twitter chat.
Like, does this have to be about social media? Because I have some tamales that I'm about to eat for dinner.
Yeah, I have to cook dinner and I have to feed some animals that are like literally knocking on the door.
I might Instagram my tamales if you want.
You can try. I think Instagram is still.
I know. So sad.
It's a sad world. It's a sad
Facebook
game.
seems to be working now.
Yeah,
but-
Facebook is working. I was watching you guys on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like really kind of buggy still because some of the things I tried to do wouldn't work.
It's not working for me.
And
It's not.
Instagram just keeps giving me an error. So
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
stuck on Anala Leichman, Dr. Kevin Leichman's wife. She's
Yeah.
my only Instagram picture that I can get. She's beautiful, so at least she's beautiful. Dr. Will, you're no stranger to fasting from Facebook. So what are you going to do tonight? What's your plans?
I don't know. The wife and I is going to stream something.
Yeah.
Or watch some TV. You know, we're old.
me too.
We're
Me
old
too,
married
Dr.
couple
Will.
at this point. You know.
All
Oh
right,
my
well-
gosh.
Well, thank you all for coming. We are going to see you on Friday, but I'm going to put this up. If you have not checked out Dr. Will's first Edupreneur, check it out right now before. If you don't have anything to do because Facebook is acting up, here's a link. Watch his Edupreneur tonight, and then be ready for Edupreneur 2 to come out. And if you're one of those people that you've had enough, you want to protect your mental space, you need to take a year off of teaching or whatever. His next one's going to come out, or if you stay teaching, it's not like you have to leave. But if you are ready to start up a business, just watch for Edupreneur 2, how to launch your edu business. So thank you for sharing all of this, Dr. Will. Does anybody have any last words they'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Only that we will see you on Thursday instead this week with the amazingly talented Jamie Donnelly. And we'll probably talk about augmented virtual reality, but Global Maker Day is coming up. So anybody who's getting involved and looking for like making and STEM, that is coming up very, very soon. So I know she'll be talking to us about that on a special day this week on Thursday.
Glad you said that. Thursday. We'll be gone on Friday. Anybody else?
I'm glad to be connected with all of you. Hopefully we can see each other in person. And maybe Twitter won't go down too. So,
Yeah,
Vegas,
right.
baby. Vegas.
I'm going to ISTE.
oh yes,
Yay! Gonna have some
I'm
pasta.
going to ISTE. Are we all going to ISTE?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll
get her
see.
there.
I know for sure I'm going to Vegas if you guys want to see me in person. Is all I'm saying. I'll be there sometime.
All right. Well, you can go there and I'll see you here.
Bye, everybody. I'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.